What up? It's Dramos, and this is the recap, as I do each and every week, breaking down some of the biggest headlines from this last week. As always, salute to our girl, B. Marie, who kills it doing our IG Lives. She'll hit the trending topics from each day, so make sure you check that out. And of course, as I do each and every week, I have an amazing guest. Hopping on in just a little bit to help me break down some stories is singer Thalia Falcon. Now, before she gets on, though, let's kind of dive into some of the BS real quick. Now, obviously, one of the biggest stories and travesties and tragedy, I should say, of this last year has been COVID and everything relating to it. Now, outside of the devastation it's done, in people's lives and the deaths we've seen, it's also devastated our economy. And so many people are feeling it, from the loss of jobs or when it comes to their businesses. And a lot of businesses are suffering right now as a result of the closures and the delays in opening or curfews and everything related to trying to keep us safe that people in power are doing. Now, our government, of course, needs to step in and help the people out. And to do so, they created a program called the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP. And it's essentially designed to give out loans to different businesses to help them stay afloat during this time and to essentially help them not have to lay off employees during this time. Now, great, and the idea of it all sounds amazing, but it wouldn't be the U.S. government if they didn't find a way to screw it up for us little people out there. Now, a big story that broke this last week was that mega millionaire Joel Osteen, who I'm sure many of you know, he's all over television and preaching on some of the biggest networks. And, he's doing pretty well for himself in life. He got a $4.4 million PPP loan. Now, not only do the churches not have to pay taxes, but Joel Osteen has a net worth of $40 million. And listen, I'm not ignorant to the fact that, your net worth is not liquid. But let's be real, Joel is probably not having to decide between keeping his business open or putting food on the table for his family. And he probably has, some change in the bank that he could break off for some of his employees if he really actually gave a damn. The sad thing is that he's not the only mega millionaire pastor to receive this kind of loan. And it's guys like this that are the reason why people would rather get inspiration and words of wisdom from celebrities before ever stepping foot in the church.
You smart. You very smart. We the best. You a genius. I appreciate you.
Thank you, DJ Khaled. Now, let's talk some actual numbers, some brass tacks, if you will, because I don't want this to just be my opinion and me personally attacking Joel Osteen and ultra-rich pastors. So let's talk some actual numbers here. Now, they've set aside $522 billion, and they've distributed that much money for businesses to stay afloat during this time. The irony is that more than half of that money has gone to big business, large corporations. Now, these small businesses, on the other hand, who truly, truly need this money to stay afloat, they are asking generally for $150,000 and under, where gigantic companies, on the other hand, are asking for and being given millions and millions of dollars in loans, which is eating away at this money that's been set aside to help businesses. Now, I know you're asking, okay, well, what companies, have been getting these $1 million loans? Well, as per usual, when anything negative happens, you simply just have to follow the trail of orange spray tan. Donald Trump, of course, it all always leads back to him. Now, let's talk about Donald Trump and let's talk about his properties that he owns, his Trump properties. Let's talk about 40 Wall Street, which is a commercial skyscraper in Lower Manhattan with nearly 100 businesses listing an address in it. And surprise, surprise, those businesses have collected more than $34 million in loan relief. Now, I know you're saying, okay, got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He houses a lot of businesses in that building, right? It's just coincidence maybe that these companies somehow are allocating millions of dollars for relief. Well, let's keep it moving then. So let's talk about prominent law firms. Ones like Boise Schiller Flexner, a high-priced law firm that was founded and run, surprise, surprise, by President Trump's longtime personal lawyer, Mark E. Kasowitz. And guess how much they've collected? $10 million in relief for Trump's personal attorney's law firm. I don't know, guys. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but something just doesn't smell right over here. And let's keep it moving, because I don't want to just harp on Trump. Let's just talk about all the egregiousness happening overall. So $10 million PPP loans were given to dozens of restaurant chains, such as Ted's Montana Grill, which I have no idea what the hell that is. I've never seen one in my entire life, nor do I know what they serve. But what I do know is it was started by billionaire Ted Turner, who has a net worth of $2.2 billion. Now, old Teddy over here, he's hurting apparently, right? Or not, come on. He's a billionaire. I doubt Ted Turner is having to decide once again between feeding his family or keeping the doors of his business open. He's more than likely deciding which Ferrari he wants to drive or which business who's hurting right now he can buy up and turn a quick buck on. Hey, that's just speculation. Who am I to judge? Let's also just keep moving into other big businesses. Los Angeles Lakers, yes, the NBA basketball team applied for and was approved for PPP loans. They later ended up, turning down the money, but obviously it was because of public backlash. Why apply in the first place? Meanwhile, you guys are over here paying J.R. Smith, yep, that guy, hundreds of thousands of dollars to warm the bench for 16 games this season. Logic just doesn't really fit up here, but hey, I don't know basketball. I'm just a guy who talks on a digital TV show. But let's talk about our politicians for a second, who love to say small businesses are the backbone of the American economy and of this country as a whole. Yet, they seem to not really be batting an eye at the fact that almost 100,000 small businesses in this country have already closed their doors for good. These are people who are sadly having to decide between keeping a roof over their family's head or closing down the businesses that they broke their backs to build. What's sad is when you look at the people who are in positions of power in this country, we shouldn't really be all that shocked. Sorry, can we run back the picture of Mitch McConnell one time, please? Oof, that's a textbook definition of like a face only a mother could love. But I digress here. So let's do some actionable steps here. Let me talk to the people for a second. So all of you Karens and Facebook freedom fighters, how about instead of protesting your local mayors and governors for imposing things like curfews and the stoppage of indoor dining as a means to help slow the spread of COVID, why don't you aim your anger at the federal government, who is once again finding ways to line the pockets of millionaires and billionaires at the expense of everyday people like you and I, and more importantly, our small businesses. And just as a little reminder, in case you're not following along, who sits at the top of our federal government? Well, of course, it's none other than the human cheese doodle that is Donald Trump. Now, that's all I'm going to say. I feel relieved. I just wanted to get that off my chest, as I sit here like all of you watching as the government allows the rest of the U.S., us, the everyday people, to be robbed blindly by people who have far more than enough. So if that doesn't anger you, that doesn't, make your blood boil to some degree, I don't know what to say about you. But hey, that's it. We're going to go into some positivity here. I'm going to bring on my guest this week to help, just lighten the mood a little bit. I know I just hit you with some heavy stuff. So helping me break down some more stories this week, my guest is a singer whose latest single, Passively Aggressive, is streaming everywhere right now. Thalia Falcon, how we feeling?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for hopping on here. I appreciate it. I know you're working on a bunch of stuff right now, so I appreciate you making the time.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. So, listen, we're going to dive into, all the stuff that you got going on. But before that, if it's cool with you, I want to kind of run down some of this week's past stories and kind of get your take on it.
Yeah, of course. A lot going on.
Yes. All right. So let's start in the music world. Obviously you are a singer. So let's talk about this epic Verzuz battle that was supposed to happen that got canceled. So it's supposed to be Ashanti versus Keisha Cole. I don't know if you're old enough to remember their music.
That's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not grow up listening to them very much. I know like their main hits because I was born in 96. So it's kind of like, a little before your time. So people that are old like me remember this. It is a big deal. But I'm curious then for you, like what would be an epic Verzuz battle that would get you super hyped up? I mean, my two favorite artists right now, Summer Walker and SZA.
Okay.
That would definitely be a very chill. I'm sure you could have very chill versus, but I mean,
that's like a light some candles and pour a glass of wine type of
right. So I would say that, but I mean, we have Beyonce, we have J-Lo, we have, you know, a lot of the icons from my time that I would love to see on there. So
I'm going to throw one at you because I did this on like my live and people were like, well, their mind was blown. That was a good one. So I'm going to hit you with one that I would love to see. I want to know who you would have in that battle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So The Weeknd versus Bruno Mars.
Who I would want to win or who I would think.
Who do you think would win in that battle? That versus battle, The Weeknd versus Bruno Mars. There's no wrong answer here, by the way.
I'd say Bruno Mars.
Ooh, you got to give it to Bruno.
Yeah.
Why do you think Bruno has it?
I don't even, there's not a certain reason, but I'm trying to think like of all the like big hits, like Uptown Funk, 24, carry magic in it.
Right.
So I'd say Bruno, and just like the fact that he's an all around performer. And
is that some shade towards The Weeknd?
Well, no, of course not. I love The Weeknd. The Weeknd is good for certain things, but
it's a family show. Relax. Okay.
but no, I mean, both of them I look up to as artists, so it depends. I mean,
fair enough. Okay. I might have to give it to Bruno as well, to be honest with you. I love The Weeknd, but I think I might actually have to agree.
They're both different too. It's like, how can you even compare? That's so tricky about the verses. It's like they're both good. Each candidate are both good in their own way. So it's very hard to decide. But I just love like the overall idea of verses in general and just like how people are celebrated instead of just, you know, my generation, they're all about competing and who's the best, who, you know, has more followers, all that shit. And I'm just like, it's not about that.
It's unnecessary.
This is about being celebrated. So I really appreciate that.
I love that. Well, listen, speaking of people hating and the internet culture, Lizzo was getting a lot of flack. And I want to get your take on this because it's important to specifically ask a woman about this because it's just ridiculous. But she was getting a lot of flack about posting about like this 10-day detox she was on. And people were kind of, I guess, giving her shit because she promotes body positivity. And they were trying to say, now you're on a detox and all these things. In the media and just internet culture, it's like, it's kind of ridiculous that we kind of have to dictate to a woman what she wants to do with her body almost to a degree. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but as an artist, as a female artist, kind of how do you feel about this whole subject?
I mean, if Lizzo wants to go on a detox, let the girl go on a detox. Right. People are going to hate either way. And I believe she did post that video on TikTok, and TikTok, you know, is filled with all haters and cancel culture. And it's just like, let the poor girl do what she wants.
Right.
They kind of feel like give her shit either way. You know, it's like if she posts a picture, they hate. If she goes on a detox, and you know, it's up to her preference. But I mean, as long as her mental and physical health are in check, and it's up to her to decide that, you know, it's not really our job to judge.
It's got to be weird though, because I think obviously to a degree, both men and women, there's a certain maybe standard when you're working in the entertainment space and things like that. But obviously it's drastically different when it comes to women and men. And even people like Ed Sheeran or Charlie Puth look like they were just rolled out of bed half the time. You know what I mean? But like nobody really talks about that. Is it weird to like have this kind of pressure that you always sort of have to be on and looking a certain way, you know, even though you're just trying to get your talent and your music out there?
Of course. I mean, I think obviously having the look and trying to be a public figure, that goes hand in hand.
Right.
But as long as you're authentic, and I think that's what Lizzo does best, is she's real. Like that's the biggest thing you can do as an artist is be authentic. And I really appreciate her for that. So, I mean, I think she should just keep doing what she's doing and try to block out the hate, because no matter what, when you're in the light, you're going to get hate. You know, you can't live your life based off of other people's opinions. That's just not going to work out. So,
I mean, do you read the comments? I know it's tough, but like, I know you're big on TikTok and things like that. Like, do you read through those comments, you know, that people are leaving?
I do. I mean, on my posts or on like...
On your own, yeah.
I don't really get much hate yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not really at the level yet where I get a lot of hate, but I mean, I'm sure it's going to come eventually. It's just, you got to just stay grounded, keep your family around you, which is the biggest thing to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you can't live your life, worrying about other people's opinions.
Right. It's tough though. I mean, because
it's very hard.
I've gotten some of the hate, and it's tough to not just go back and forth with people, because I think that it's like internet culture to just make assumptions, and somehow they see like 30 seconds of what you're doing, and then now they know your entire life story.
Exactly.
And it's hard to not like get defensive and be like, listen, really go back at somebody who's trying to make some assumption about, whatever it is that you're doing. It's kind of a weird place to be in,
I've gotten, I guess, like a little bit here and there on like certain videos on my Instagram, but nothing much yet.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. You don't respond to the haters.
Right.
Okay, good. That's probably a healthier way. I gotta practice that. I gotta practice not going back at people.
They make me want to work harder, duh.
I like that. Very, very PC answer. I like it. All right. So let's talk about, this is one thing I personally like. I hate even reporting this as news, but I don't get it. I'm curious, maybe you're of a different generation. There's an obsession with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They have a podcast, People Care. What is the obsession with like the royal family? Because I remember when they were getting married, it was like people were waking up at like 4 a.m. to watch this thing happen. You know what I mean? So like maybe you can shed some light on what
I would just like to say before we get into this that people think that my doppelganger is Meghan Markle. I don't see it, but what do you think? Yes or no?
Do I? Oh, no, I don't see. I mean, I see. I see certain features, but I don't see the Meghan Markle though.
Okay,
no.
You're the first person I think that's thought that. But
no offense. It doesn't mean anything bad or good. I personally don't see it.
But I think what people love most about them is the fact that they are not like previous members of the royal family. Like they go against the norm. They're more relatable. Don't you agree a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think
they moved to California. They do a podcast. It's just like all these things adding up, and it's like, damn, like I would love to listen to their podcast because I could probably relate to them.
Well, so let me ask you something though. I don't mean to cut you off, but there is something interesting because Meghan Markle getting married to him essentially had to give up her entire career at one point, right? Like she was ready to throw away her entire career to live this life. Could you see yourself doing that for a dude?
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't ever want to rely on a man, but that's just me.
Right. Even being the potential queen or princess, I don't know what the hell they call it.
Never say never. I haven't found that person yet, so come back to me once I do. But I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. It's my career. But yeah, they just picked up and moved to Los Angeles or where? California?
I don't know. They were in Canada at one point. I think they're in Los Angeles. I don't follow it that closely. I just know that people care a lot. I just don't get it. But hey, to each his own. I think I like the way that you put it. I mean, I guess it's kind of like this. As people, we have this fascination with power, and royalty is like the ultimate power. And then to see people sort of fight against the traditions of royalty to a degree and like wanting to be normal human beings. I guess there is something fascinating about that.
Yeah, I think he kind of took after his mom in that case. Princess Diana kind of went against.
Right.
I think for the better,
Well, I mean, and I'm sure that had to have some sort of effect on him, like seeing what his mom went through and unfortunately what it ultimately led to. That maybe it kind of woke him up that this isn't kind of, the life that he wants to have to live.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. I don't want to have a psychological breakdown of
Prince
Harry.
I don't know much about them. We're just assuming everything.
We're doing exactly what we were just complaining about internet people do. And we just developed this whole timeline about the mental state of Prince Harry.
So funny.
It's fine. All right. So, I mean, let's like talk about some good news a little bit. So a COVID vaccine was distributed this last week here in the States. So seems like this upcoming year, we're going to start to get back to normal. I mean, I have to say it's very impressive to see somebody kind of take a year like this that, there was so much to, just sit and wallow about, you know what I mean? And to just put things on pause for. But it seems like you made the best of it and really kind of had your breakout year thus far during all this stuff. So, I mean, how are you feeling knowing that we're possibly, inching towards getting back to normal and, possible opportunities you might have as a, result of you putting in the work right now?
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting to see like things starting to play out from all this past year's hard work. But, I mean, I don't know about the vaccine or anything like that yet. I haven't really thought about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see as things start to pick up here, like what is going to be required from artists and, you know, with tours and all that. So, I mean, yeah, we'll just have to see, but it is very exciting to see everything, like all of my hard work paying off. So,
yeah, I think you're gaining momentum at the right time, which is exciting to see. I mean, what's like, let's just say tomorrow they flip the light switch, everything's back to normal. What's like the one thing you're most excited to be able to just go out and do?
Perform. Perform.
Right. I
really like the beginning of quarantine was the first time I've actually been able to focus on myself as an artist and figure out who I want to be. Yeah. I had never in my life gotten that chance before, you know, just to like sit and kind of make a game plan of not really a game plan, but just, I mean, I was working on getting better as an artist, as a singer, as, you know, I had my vocal lessons every week through FaceTime. Just a lot I was working on. I even taught myself piano, but that actually really helped me with like the music theory and all that. So anyway, I kind of took this the last 7 months to really figure out who I wanted to be. And now that it's over, or like kind of starting to pick up again, it's just kind of all playing out and making sense. So I'm very excited.
That's beautiful. I mean, you won a contest, to open up at the Jingle Ball in your area, right?
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love the video you posted that was like a flashback to your dad, who I guess is a singer as well.
Yeah.
Him hearing his song being played on the radio for the first time, and then kind of flashing forward to present day, you guys all being together to hear you have your song played on the radio for the first time, which is beautiful. I mean, kind of talk to me about that moment when you first you're all sitting in the car together with your whole family and you know, hearing your song get played on the radio.
So obviously we knew it was coming up. We knew it was going to happen, but there was no way I could have prepared for that. Like that feeling that I got, I just broke out into tears. Like I wasn't planning on crying, but then I saw my parents crying and I'm like, oh my God, here it comes. And even my brother, he's like not an emotional person at all, but he was freaking out. And it was just, it's an amazing, like beautiful feeling. It sounds cheesy, but it's just an amazing feeling to just like see everything, like all the stars aligning. It's the craziest feeling. And I haven't even really like popped off yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I'm kind of just like starting out. So I'm getting my name out there. So I just felt like the pride for my parents, like the energy in that car was just, you know, and I'm sure you could probably tell from the video, but
no, of course it was beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful because you have supportive parents, obviously, who like, I guess, understood the magnitude of that moment. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times, you know, and this isn't like a stab at any parents out there or anything like that, but just because they don't necessarily get the business or understand how hard certain things are to obtain, or these moments, how much it takes for them to manifest, sometimes it might be a little deflating. Like I can remember personally, like certain milestones in my career and telling my parents about it, and they didn't react the way I wanted them to. And it was kind of deflating, you know, and it's not because they weren't proud or happy. They just didn't understand.
But they didn't understand. Yeah, exactly. They didn't understand. And
so, it does help. Special to see that, you know?
Yeah, no, it definitely does help that my parents are young, number one. They had me when they were 21. So I'm the first child. I have two.
Amazing.
So there's that. And then also it helps that my dad was also an artist. You know, this whole process that I'm going through, he's been through as well. Amazing. Back in the day when I was born, and then he kind of had to stop it because I was born. Sorry, guys, your fault. But no, I mean, we're kind of just like living my dream together now, which is so beautiful.
Do you ever have to tell him like, Dad, chill out a little bit? Like he's trying to get a little, you know, he's feeling himself a little bit too much.
All the time. He's like, who are the 4 people that disliked your music video? I'm going to go hunt them down. I'm like, good luck with that.
Right.
You haven't seen anything yet, Dad.
Yeah. It's a very different time than when he grew up, and you can like live reaction see people hating on you, which is such a weird concept, you know?
But no, honestly, I mean, I would not be where I am now without my dad. Like he was the one who booked my gigs for me, or a couple gigs here and there, before I met my team. And then he also went on a day trip with me to the Voice audition all the way to New York City. He's just been there for everything. And I could not be more grateful. He would be at the studio with me now, not so much anymore, but when I first started out, all those long days. And now it's just like, I'm now doing my own thing, and I come home. I still live with my parents. So I come home and they're like, how was your day at the studio? Blah, blah, blah. So they're very, very supportive, but yeah, I'm very blessed.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right. So, I mean, what do we got, to look forward to this upcoming year? Only a few weeks left of 2020. I mean, 2021, what are you planning on doing? I know you've been putting out like music at a pretty quick pace.
Yeah, I drop a song every month, which is very exciting.
So you're going to keep that up for the rest of 2021 kind of?
Yes.
Wow.
Not sure 100% what the plan is, but you guys will be having a ton of new music coming from me. Check out my, streaming platforms now. We got Spotify. I'm all over the place, so you can't miss me. But maybe some more music videos. Just some exciting things coming. So you guys.
That's beautiful. And one thing I will say, what I love to see about your social media is like you're really documenting this process every step of the way. And it's going to be incredible for you to one day look back upon it. But B, I think that for any artist out there, just kind of looking at it as a case study that you're, inviting people to be a part of what you're doing. And that's the beauty of it. That's
all I want to do.
Right.
That's what art is about.
Connected,
all about the journey.
Yes. Which is beautiful. So I commend you on that. And I think it's going to be cool to just kind of see more of these things, posting and just seeing it as it all progresses, So congratulations to you thus far. And
thank you so much. And I appreciate you playing my song on your live. Yes. That was fun. That's how we connected.
Yeah, that was like a few months ago. And then it's crazy to even see just how quickly things have begun to go for you since that moment. That was only a few months ago, which is just wild to see, You
were like, Thalia Falcon, gift giver.
I gave it a good review. I remember giving a good review, right?
You did. I screen recorded it.
Okay, beautiful.
In case you want to see
it. I'm glad I gave it a good review. Now, I mean, listen. Again, I mean, congrats. Everything's really dope that you're doing, that you're putting out there. I think you definitely have kind of found your lane, and it's cool to kind of see this whole process. And I'll be following along just like everybody else.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot.
Of course, absolutely. Listen, take care. Have a great holiday, and thank you so much once again for hopping on here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one.
Got it. Man, big thank you once again to my guest this week, Thalia Falcon, for hopping on. She's incredibly talented and definitely on her way to doing some really big things. So make sure you go check her out. And before I get out of here, of course, as I do each and every week, I want to leave you with some positivity. Now, this week's quote, I actually was randomly stumbling around Medium, and I found a blog by somebody named David Hernandez, and he was talking about rest, and I just thought that it was so important going into this holiday season right now. And the quote he pulled is actually from the artist Banksy. And the quote is, "If you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit." I'll say that again. If you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. And I think those are incredibly important words, especially, like I said, going into a holiday right now where many of us are probably going to get a chance to take some much needed time off and recharge your batteries, whether that be, sleeping in or spending time with the people you love the most. One of the most important things to realize is while it's incredible to be out there hustling every day and to be chasing after the things that you want, and it's commendable, all of that means nothing if you also aren't taking the proper time for yourself to rest, both physically and mentally. We hear so much about self-care these days, and it's because we're realizing now how important that stuff is and how detrimental it is to us being able to lead the lives we dream of living, So personally, man, I have been checked out for a little while. I'm going to enjoy these next couple of weeks to slow things down and to kind of just, catch my breath, if you will, after a long year. And I suggest you do the same. There is no guilt. There is no shame in taking some time for yourself, and utilize the time we have right now where the world is kind of shutting down even more so with this holiday season. So take some time for yourself, invest in your rest, and, you're going to come back sharper and better than ever to go out there and chase after things that you are aiming for. So with that said, thank y'all so much once again for the support. It's always greatly appreciated. Have a great holiday season, a great Christmas, a great Hanukkah for those who have been celebrating. Any holiday you're celebrating this year, man, I'm wishing you and your family nothing but the best and so much joy and love going into it. I will be here next week with a little Christmas special for you guys. So until then, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.